And one other thing just popped into my head, Ed. Remember Brian Kaplan? He
Yeah.
wrote a book on immigration, and he wrote a book on building, building more homes or whatever.
They're
And
comic books. They're what are the graphic novel,
yes,
I guess they're called. Yeah, we're
and
yep.
and I could have sworn I heard him say his illustrator gets a good chunk of the royalties. Like they have a 40-60 split or something. I'm not sure, but if you know somebody's going to be able to do that, maybe you just team up with them, and maybe not half and half, but something like that as well.
Yeah, yeah, lots of different possibilities on that. So, but I really appreciate the question, Melquia, and it's really weird to think that somebody, Ron, is going down a rabbit hole of the soul of enterprise, but I really appreciate that, and I'm honored to hear that happens. So,
Right, right. Special editions too, by the way. I think
oh yeah,
that's another, signed by the illustrator and the author. I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
who's
Yeah.
big into that was the a couple of bands have done that. Nine Inch Nails, for example, and Radiohead. The Radiohead is one we've talked about on the show previously, where they had the thing where if you had to, their new album only dropped and you could pay nothing for it. They would allow you to pay zero, but you actually had to go into the field and type 0.00
Right.
in order to be, and then you could click download, right? But that would be an interesting thing too, to see if you could set up like I think Patreon, not GoFundMe does a lot of these things where you're allowed to pre-sell a certain number of, say, 100 signed copies, and they pay a higher rate where if they're funding. So that's really another way of thinking about it, that's really value priced, because you're getting the money a little bit ahead of time too.
Yeah. Like Disney, when you buy an animation cell from one of Disney's movies, and some of those go for big bucks. Yeah, just wow, so many different things to talk about there. But that's really neat. Thanks for that question.
All right.